Back here, Radio Row, Super Bowl 50 between the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers, and we were just talking to Neil Smith a few moments ago, and he said this basically: if he thinks that I thought he was big, wait till I see Jonathan Ogden. How about that? You are one large man. Like I'm 6'4", and I feel small next to you.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I definitely got the size when they were passing it out at birth. Fortunately, I got size and athleticism and skill. You know, I didn't just get one or the other.
You are a Pro Football Hall of Famer. When you got that call to be in the Hall of Fame, take me back, because I have to imagine that's such a humbling experience.
It is. I mean, everyone tells you you're going to be first ballot. Oh, don't worry about it. But you know what? I've seen a lot of great players who didn't get in on the first ballot, and some who had to wait a long time. So I kind of prepared myself to, you know, if I didn't get in, it wasn't a big deal. And I remember the day I was walking around the hotel, and that's like the longest day. The only day that seemed longer to me was the Super Bowl day when I played in 2000. Waiting for that to happen was longer than waiting for the Hall of Fame call. But I remember when they came and they announced it. Steve Perry got up on stage and announced it. It was just kind of a feeling of relief and just a blessing. My mind kind of went blank because it was just one of those moments that you really didn't understand how to process. I mean, someone's telling you you're going to be. My number is 277. You're the 277th person inducted into the Professional Football Hall of Fame. In the history of football, in the 90-year history, you're 277. And that's just kind of crazy to me. But obviously it's a blessing, and I couldn't be prouder to be an ambassador for football and a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. A lot of great guys there I've met, and just meeting some of my heroes growing up is just so amazing.
Who was the most memorable person that you met in the Hall of Fame that you were like, wow, I can't believe I'm in the same class as this guy?
Oh, goodness. You know, I would say that meeting – I didn't meet him at the Hall of Fame. I met him before I was a Hall of Famer. Deacon Jones was the best Hall of Famer I ever met. He was just so genuine and crazy, and I loved him. And he talked smack about the head slap when he was 70 years old. He's like, I'll slap your head, man. I was like, he was one of the best. But of the guys who are there now, I'd say Munoz was the guy who I just thought was the greatest when I was growing up, and Art Shell, and just so many guys in that room. You're just like, hey, Joe Montana, hey, Jerry Rice, hey, Emmitt Smith, hey, Michael. I mean, it's just like a who's who of professional football, and you're just one of the guys in the room. It's so crazy.
You played in 11 Pro Bowls, I believe, and now the Pro Bowl is just such a joke because you get guys that don't really deserve to be in it that are because guys drop out, whether they don't make it or because of injuries. Should they just release the Pro Bowl list and just not even play the game, or do you think they should still play the Pro Bowl?
I think the Pro Bowl needs a few things. I think they need to go back to AFC, NFC. I love Michael Irvin and Chris Carter and Jerry Rice, but I've turned the game on. I had no vested rooting interest at all. I mean, if you see a guy, if you're a Ravens fan, and you see Marshall Yanda on one side and Elvis Dumerville on the other side, it's like, well, who do I root for? So that kind of kills it to me, and I think they should go back to being after the Super Bowl. I really think if you go back to after the Super Bowl, I think people's minds, they just finished watching the championship games, great football being played. They got the Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks, and they kind of throw a what is this in the middle. I think when they did it after the Super Bowl, one, you could get more guys because more guys wouldn't back out because everybody could try. Even if you played when I played in the Super Bowl, I still was able to get to the Pro Bowl. And, and it was fun going out there because, the guys are congratulating you. And there's nothing like a bunch of your peers saying congratulations for having a great season. And, you just – I don't know. I think that will be the biggest thing to help it because we cared when I went. I wasn't going to go out there, and Johnny Randall wasn't go out there and take a play off. I mean, so we had to go out there and give the fans what they wanted a little bit. It wasn't a full-speed game, obviously, but we gave them a lot more than they give them now.
Who was the best defensive player that you went up against?
Derek Thomas. Derek Thomas was great. I'd say Dwight Freeney was a close second as far as pass rusher. I thought Derek Thomas had so many different moves that he could throw at you, from a spin to a rip to a power to a up and over. He had everything. But Dwight Freeney had by far the best spin, probably in the history of the National Football League, really. I mean, the way he could spin on a tackle. You ask anybody who played tackle, and when he was in his prime, they were like, man, that spin was tough to defend.
And now in this Super Bowl, you have two really good defenses, and the offensive linemen are going to have a lot of work their way. Sure. And this is a game that's going to be won in the trenches. That's my philosophy on football.
Always
it's
is.
Won in the trenches, and I know you agree with that. But the way that they've played Peyton Manning now is different. I was talking to Ted Johnson about this earlier in the week. When they played Ted Johnson, they would never blitz him. Now teams are blitzing him because of his lack of arm strength as it's gone down over the years. How important, and when you look at this Denver offensive line, what do they have to do to neutralize that Panthers lethal attack?
They're going to have to run the football. I mean, they're going to have to find a way to get some yards and get into third and manageable, because you can't, Peyton's not, I remember we played Peyton Manning about 10, 11 years ago. Like you said, we tried to blitz him, he would shred you. He'd go up over the top to Marvin Harrison, hit him in stride right down the sideline, or whoever, Reggie Wayne. But now, you blitz him, he tries that same pass, he just misses it. He doesn't have the arm strength, the arm accuracy. It's just not quite the same. So he can't really be in 3rd and 9, 10. But if he's in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, he's still smart enough to get you back into the right run, because they have to defend the run as well. Then when they have to defend the run, it opens things up a little more for him to make passes. And I think that's going to be the key for them to win.
Jonathan Ogden is here with us, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, on Radio Row. Super Bowl 50 between the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. On the other end, Cam Newton, he could find a way when he's getting blitzed to just go out and run for 40, 50 yards and get a touchdown. For an offensive lineman, what is that like, blocking for a guy that maybe if I just miss my block, he could find a way to make something and work?
It helps. It helps. It's not that he's a mobile quarterback. I mean, the good thing about him is, one, he's huge, so he can take a little bit of a hit. Someone can get a hand on him and not really take him down. But he's learned to operate from the pocket, which means that you can predict where he's going to be when you're blocking. And that's what makes – I hated the term, quote-unquote, mobile quarterbacks who weren't where they're supposed to be when they're dropping back. So you always know that when you're protecting, you protect him like he's Tom Brady. But if you mess up, he'll get away like Michael Vick used to get away. So that's kind of the unique thing about him. And that's why he would be one of the best quarterbacks to play for, because he had the best of both worlds.
So when you played in the Super Bowl, you guys had a nice little win over the Giants.
Yeah.
It was never a contest, and my good friend Qadri Ismail was on that team.
Yes.
I go back with Q way back. He's been on our show many times. From that game, because it obviously hit you at some point in that game, oh, we're going to win it. It's not even close. This isn't a contest. But take me back to leading up to that game and your preparation for going up against that Giant team.
You know what? We were very confident, obviously. We just come off beating the Raiders a couple weeks earlier, and we knew how good our defense was. And as an offense, our whole goal was to try to just, I don't want to say not mess it up, but our goal was to try to do what we do, try to be who we were, be efficient in the run game, make a few plays here and there in the passing game, and don't do anything silly. And that's how our preparation was. We knew that we couldn't go out there and take these incredibly stupid shots, let Trent Dilfer throw it up. But that was how we played, and we knew that's how we could win, because we knew that if we scored 14 points, it didn't turn the ball over, we were going to win the game. So that's kind of the way we approached it.
Describe what it was like to be teammates with Ray Lewis and also Ed Reed.
Oh, a lot of fun. Me and Ray came in the same year, 96, and I was the 4th. He was the 26th pick. I always remind him of that. But, it was just so much fun to watch him evolve from a young player. Together, we were both young players, to the leader and just kind of the best linebacker to ever play the game, really. I mean, he's probably, I don't know if there's ever been a better emotional leader on the football field than Ray Lewis. And, just to watch him grow and develop to what he did, what he's become, was just a joy to be around. And Ed Reed, I remember when he came in, I was like, okay, safety from Miami, okay. But then when you watch the way he actually prepared, and you watch the way he made plays, and you knew early on that Ed Reed was going to be a special guy. And then to watch those two together my last couple of years, the way they controlled that defense, it was just a joy to watch. It's, you get kind of get spoiled, as a team. So when those two left, that's kind of why the Ravens, have struggled a little bit, because it's hard when you lose leaders like that.
So when the second time the Ravens won a Super Bowl, you weren't on the team, but you were an honorary captain for that game,
yes.
if my memory serves me right. And you saw Ray Lewis. That was his last run. He walked off into the sunset with a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah.
Peyton can do that as well. How much did that inspire the guys in that locker room, and maybe what it's doing for the Broncos as well?
I think it did. I mean, you watched the way that team struggled. They had some struggles during that season, because Ray was hurt. But when he came back and announced his retirement, something clicked in that team, and they kind of came together. And that's kind of the way it goes. You come together. And I think that Peyton has already decided to retire. Personally, I think in his mind he's made it up. I just think he doesn't want to make the announcement because then that becomes the story. I think he wants the story to be the game and everything around that. But I think those guys in the locker room get that sense that this is Peyton's last run. And I think they want to go out there and send the guy out on top because to me, he's the best, without a doubt, the best regular season quarterback. And I hate using that term because of what it denotes. But I know one thing. If the Baltimore Ravens, when I was playing, had the option of playing the Indianapolis Colts or the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady or Peyton Manning and any coach, give me the Patriots. The Colts were Ravens killers, and he was 18 was the catalyst behind many of them.
Before we let you run, everyone's got to have a prediction on this game.
Yeah.
We need your football analysis. Who wins this game coming up on Sunday?
And the Las Vegas Cindy, where I live, says Carolina's going to win. But my heart says I want Peyton Manning to go out on top. I want a guy who has been class from day one, who's represented the league well, I played with in 7 Pro Bowls, I think I played with Peyton, something like that. And a guy who, when I retired, wrote me a letter saying how much he enjoyed me as a player and a person. I got to root for that guy.
All right, thanks so much, Jonathan.
Oh, you're very welcome, man.
You have a foundation, that's right. I know you're not like physically promoting anything. You're like one of the
Yeah.
few people on Radio Row that don't do that, which is just incredible. It shows how great of a person you are.
I got nothing to sell today.
But no, come on, tell me a little about your foundation.
Oh, I work with underprivileged kids in Baltimore. We have tutoring and life skills programs, high school kids. And what we do is we just try to give kids, all athletes, boys and girls, who want help, we try to give them help. We try to give them things that they need to get out of the situation they're in. We try to explain to them that, look, through education and athletics, the combination of those two, you can go a long way in life. And we've had 100% graduation for all the kids in my program. We've had a lot of kids go to college who probably wouldn't. We've helped give some scholarships over the years. Just to get my little small part I do in Baltimore to try to give back to the community, which gave so much to me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Great to see you as always.
Very, very welcome, man.
There's the Pro Football Hall of Famer Jonathan Ogden from Radio Row. We'll take a quick break and be right back.